Hey, Rodney Mayfield. How are you? Good morning, Nancy. And Darlene, how are you? I'm going to lower that. How y'all doing? Pretty good, eh? Today we're going to use kettlebells in the class. Only kidding. You may not have them at home anyway. Does anyone have one of these? You know what it is? It's very similar to having a rolling pin, and you use it to roll. You probably can't see this. I think it's out of view. You roll your muscles. You gotta have one of those. It's awesome. So, good morning. How are y'all? Today is Tuesday at 11 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? Do you have children? 2 out of 3 of you do. All right, so let's just jump right into it. We'll have a nice yoga practice today, and give your bodies a physical workout. So close your eyes for right now. Breathe through your nose on both the inhale and the exhale. Start to slow your breath down. Bring it to a more smooth quality. Just relax your thoughts. Softening into your pose, but yet staying open and uplifted. Let go and surrender. Just slowly breathing in and out. Feel the rhythm of your breath. Let come what may come. So let's do some breath of fire breathing this morning. And we'll start with Kapalabhati breath. That is the rapid exhale and the relaxed normal inhale. So Kapalabhati means skull shining, and when you do Kapalabhati breath, you get a buzz in your head. So once again, Kapalabhati is the rapid exhale, the relaxed inhale. So let's begin. We'll continue doing this until you hear me say stop, and then we'll take a couple breaths, and then we'll start right in So, take an inhale. Normal breathing. So to force the air out of your system, you're contracting your abdominal muscles and expelling the air forcefully. Then you totally relax the abdominals and you inhale. So it's forced and then it's relaxed. It's forced and then it's relaxed. And you'll all have your own pace. Let's do it again, Kapalabhati breathing. Normal breath. Take some breaths. If you do not have any Kleenex, now's the time to get some. I'm going to go get some. We're going to do one more round of Kapalabhati, and then we're going to move into Bhastrika breathing. If anyone has a throat lozenge, because my throat is dry, if you could just send it on over, I'd appreciate it. All right, round 3. And relax. Normal breath. What I'm going to do now is pull up my timer, my stopwatch. We're going to move into Bhastrika breathing. Remember, Bhastrika breath is rapid exhale, rapid inhale. We're going to go for at least 3 minutes, and that means that's a long time for most of you if you have not done this type of breathing. So primarily this breath is for the respiratory system. It's a cleansing breath. It's also an activating breath. It activates the central nervous system. It sparks the immune system. It also is one of the best abdominal workouts you will ever put yourself through if you are able to keep going. So what I suggest you do, since we're going to go for 3 minutes, is pace yourself. So I personally am going to do the first 100 at what I consider a slow pace. And then I usually jack it up. It's kind of like the choo-choo train that could. So I'll jack it up. You stay at the pace you need to stay at. What's going to happen is your abdominal muscles in the front wall, the anterior wall, are going to start to ache. And the abdominal muscles in the back, behind you, posterior wall, are going to start to, well, I'll change that. It's going to burn in the front, it's going to ache in the back. And the ache and the burn are not going to feel comfortable. So if you can continue to work through the rapid exhale and the rapid inhale, but just slow it down and don't elongate your breath. Okay? Keep that breath here in the middle, but slow it down a little bit so that you can still maintain and you're going to get a good workout. You're going to feel this tomorrow perhaps if you're not doing any other type of ab workout. Okay? So let me get my timer back up. And 3, 2, 1, begin. 2 minutes. Keep going. This is tough. Fifteen left. And normal breath. Sit tall, but relax your belly. That is quite an abdominal workout, but that is not the reason you do this, primarily. It can be the reason, but primarily it's for your respiratory system. Breathe deep. Relax the belly, especially on the inhale. Let the abdominal cavity extend. Now take your hands back behind you. Start to work your hands back a little bit more, walk them back. Back bend here, so lift up through the sternum. Stretch out the front line, the anterior line. And then come upright. All right. That'll warm you up, and that'll get a lot of things moving in your body. Bring your legs out in front of you and just shake them out. Cross your legs, take your hands forward, roll forward onto your hands and knees. Come into table. Do a few spinal waves. Keep going. Just move through this. And then come into your cat pose. And stay in your cat. And now move into your cow pose, Vidilasana. Back into neutral. Now, shoulders are over the wrists, hips are over the knees. Extend your left leg back. Extend your right arm forward. And then take your leg and bend it and take your hand and reach back and grab the instep of that left foot. Now begin to kick into the hand so the leg raises up as you do that. Kick into it, raise the leg, reach your chest forward. You're looking down but a couple of feet in front of you. Maybe even farther. Then extend the leg back behind you and the arm forward and set it down. Come into your cat, Marjarasana. Then back into your neutral table. Right leg extends back, left arm forward, bending the knee, reach back. Get that instep and kick into it. Back bend here. Reaching the chest forward, lifting that knee up by kicking into the hand. You will be shaking if you're kicking in strongly enough. Now reach the leg back and the arm forward and set it down. Come into your cat pose. And then staying with the hips over the knees, walk your hands forward. Coming into Anahatasana, bring the forehead down to the mat. Keep your elbows lifted. Arms are straight. Heart is opening as you back bend into this pose. And then begin to make your way up, lifting up and walking your hands back in. Let's sit on our heels, but with our toes curled underneath. I'm going to walk forward a little. And then once you're here, walk your knees back so you can open up the toes even more. And just sit vertical. Sit up tall. Stretch out those toes. You're going to feel this probably. Most everyone does. You may not even be able to keep your torso vertical. You might have to lean forward and take some of the pressure off. When I first started doing this, I had to lean forward. And then come onto your hands and lift your feet up entirely and move just your toes. Now rotate your ankles. And now you're going to bring your right knee a little closer to the left knee. So bring it to the center. And take your left knee behind you. And then take your feet farther apart. So take them farther apart. And you probably will need a prop for this. You're going to sit back. And if you want to use a block, you can put a block underneath. I'll grab a block. Just because I never do, and I want to see how it feels. This is so much nicer, so much easier. So if you have a block, if you have a prop, then grab that. If you have a pillow or something you can sit on that's fairly firm, do that. So speaking of props, when we do reopen the studio, when that time comes, you're all going to have to bring your own blankets. I think that's probably the safest way to approach things. And probably bolsters also. I'm leaning towards that. The blocks and the straps we will have, but blankets and bolsters, if you want, you got to bring your own. So you're sitting up nice and tall. Your knees are stacked on top of each other. And this is actually too easy. I'm not even getting a stretch here. If you're able to come down deeper, then you start feeling it. Flex your feet as best you can. And sit tall. Now start to come forward, lean forward. As though you're coming into a forward bend. Because you are. Then begin to lift up. And you can come out of this either by rolling forward on your knees, that's a more challenging way, or taking your hands back, lean back in your hands, let the top leg unwind, then the bottom, and shake it out. There's other ways of going in and out of that, but I'm not going to show you that other way. So let's do this. Let's approach it differently on the entry on this side. So the right leg is tucked underneath, and then the top is going to be pulled over on top. So, same thing. What might be nice for some of you is to always start using the prop. That gets you into the pose. It's still working the lateral hips, but it eases you into this. It's a nice entree into it. So once you're here for a little bit, then you can remove the prop if you want. See if you can stack your knees so the left knee is on top of the right knee, or whichever one you have on top, doesn't matter. As long as it's the other one, other side. And if you want to go deeper, take that prop out. Now I usually take my left hand, since my right knee is on the bottom, I'll take my left hand and grab onto the top of the quad itself, of the right quad, and my right hand's on the opposite knee. And then I pull them that way, apart. And that helps to actually line them up. Stack them one over the other. Now lift up through your sternum and see if you can roll forward on your sits bones. And you'll get more of a stretch in your lateral hips. And release, lean back, unwind, move those legs, massage them if you want. Feel what's going on. Bring your feet right in as close as you can. And if you can, grab your opposite elbows. If not, grab your forearms or your wrists. Or if that's not doable, grab your hands. And then start to move your back, your torso, I should say, towards the back as you round and you bring your forehead to your knees. Now on an inhale, lift up, open up, spread the knees, come forward, lift up, come into extension. On your next exhale, reverse that. So move with your inhale. Inhale, coming into a cow-like posture. Exhale, coming into a cat-like posture. Next time you come into your cow and you open up, keep opening up, let those knees drop. And either clasp your hands and wrap them around your toes or grab your ankles, whichever is more doable. And get your knees moving in opposite directions. So one's going up while one is going down. So you're not yet really working the stretch too much. But what you're going to do here is you're going to pull yourself forward as you're moving your knees. And then start to get the knees in sync. So they're both going down at the same time. You're pulling yourself forward and hence taller. And now press your knees down. Press the knees down. Lift up through the sternum. Bring the low back forward. So you come into proper lordosis with the lumbar spine. And then from here, take your hands behind you and come into this variation of it. Push your lower back forward. Lift your chest. Feel like you're doing a thoracic back bend. And opening up like that. Now, we're going to come into a squat. Okay? So, come on onto the balls of your feet. Keep your fingers down. If you want, use your blocks. Put your hands on blocks if they don't reach easily. So lift the heels up. Bring the heels right over the balls of the feet and then walk the balls of your feet back so that you're lengthening your toes. And then from here, let your heels come down just a little bit, and lift one hand up and then the other. And now try to bring your torso vertical. And then lift your hands, or not your hands, lift your heels once again. And then lower your heels. And then lift them. So you're really working balance. There's going to be a lot of shaking going on. That's all right. That's activating your fast twitch fibers in your ankles. Now take your knees wide. Bring your hands down and come into a forward bend. Straighten the legs. Raising the hips up. Hanging. Let that neck relax so the head hangs. Play with straightening and bending the legs, especially if you're feeling tight. Now, straighten the legs as best you can. Bend your left knee, lifting your left heel, and stretch out the back of your right leg. Lift your right sits bone. Now lower the left heel, raise the right heel, bending the right knee, left leg straightens as best you can. Lift the left sits bone. Set your heel down. Bend both knees. Roll all the way up. And come up to standing. All right. I want to do some inversions, but I'm not sure. I can do it here, but I'm not sure you guys can do it. Maybe we'll do shoulder stand towards the end. Shoulder stand and plow. So let's do a tree pose. Okay? Shift your weight to your right foot. Lift your left heel. Lift your left foot. Let it just hover. Now place the left foot to the inner calf of the right leg or the inner thigh, whichever you feel more comfortable with. Wherever you are, low or high, bring that knee, that left knee back without turning your hips. Keep your hips straight and center. The knee is being pulled back by your left glute. Bring your hands to the heart if your balance is okay. If not, use your hands to help you with balance. Lift up through your sternum. Now, bring your knee forward, removing the foot from the right leg. And then we're going to come into a standing split. Send that left leg back and come into a forward bend, lifting the left leg up behind you as high as you can get it. And then set the left foot down next to the right foot. Roll yourself all the way up. Shift your weight to your left foot. Right heel lifts up. Right foot hovers. Then tree pose. Once again, same thing. Take that right knee back behind you. Use your arms for balance unless you're feeling pretty solid. Sternum lifts up. Breathe here slowly, smoothly, and focus. Find a spot to look at. And then remove the foot, start coming into your standing split, sending the right leg back and up, hands to the floor. Open up as much as you can. Set the foot down. Roll all the way up. So come on up onto the balls of the feet. Your heels are just hovering. You're not lifting up as high as you can yet. Just hover. If bending your knees helps you, bend your knees. Otherwise, see if you can straighten the legs. You take those two joints out of play, the knee joints, it makes it more challenging. Lift the heels up even higher. Bring those heels up as high as you can. Slowly lower them down. Just touch and come back up. Lift up, lift up. Take the arms up overhead. And then lower the arms, lower the heels. Come back down. Bring your left knee into your chest. So the knee comes to the chest. Chest doesn't move towards the knee. Set it back down. Other side. Set it down. First side. Left knee up. Set it down. Right knee up. You're working on your balance. We're going to do one more on each side. Left knee raises up. Set it back down. And right knee comes up. Set it down. Take the arms up overhead. Clasp your hands. Push your palms up towards the ceiling. Now take your lower front ribs and suck them in, pull them in towards your hips. Reach the palms up, move your ears back. And then release. Take your feet mat width apart. That is if your mat is going long ways. If not, if you're standing to the side facing the long part of the mat, then just approximate. Turn the feet out slightly, bend the knees, bend your elbows, take your first finger and your thumb and put them together, and then begin to twist. Keep your heels rooted down, because you will actually twist more with the heels down. You can twist farther when you lift the opposite heel up, but that's because your hips are moving more. Try to keep your hips front and center. So as you twist to the right, you reach your right hip forward. You twist to the left, you reach the left hip forward. Has anyone gotten any vertebral adjustments at this point? Take your arms up, shoulder height. Now, let the arms hang and you tap yourself. You do not tap the kidney area, but almost everywhere else is okay. And then come back to center, shake it out. Take your left leg and start to lift it up. Cross the left ankle on the right quad above the knee. Flex that left foot. Start to bend the right knee. Hips are starting to move back. The torso is leaning forward, but you're maintaining spinal integrity. You're not rounding through your spine. Come as deep as you want. You can just stay at a certain angle. You can go down much further. You can bring your hands right down to the floor. The more you deepen that bend, the more you may feel the lateral glute, the outer glute. Also kind of feel that in the back of the left glute. And then begin to come back up. Switch sides. Right ankle on top of the left quad. right above the knee. Bend the left knee. Hips move back. Torso comes forward. Maintaining length. Once again, go to where you can go to, but get a stretch in the right glute area. Deepen. See if you can go a little bit more. Breathing through this. Getting that stretch. Coming back up. Setting your foot down. All right. Come to the center of your mat, facing sideways. Either walk or jump your feet wide. Bring your heels wider than your toes. Take your hands onto your hips. Take your shoulders up and back. Roll your shoulders down. Bring your elbows closer together so they're going straight back. Now inhale, lift up, back bend. On the exhale, come into a forward bend. Keep the shoulders driving towards each other. Now clasp your hands behind your lower back, behind your hips, and straighten your arms. Lift your arms up, your hands up overhead as you come deeper into your forward bend. Just hang here. And now start to sway from side to side. As the head goes to one side, the arms go to the other. So you're twisting and you're swaying. Not a lot, but a little bit. Just enough you can feel it. Come back to center. Release your hands down to the mat. And then lift up the torso, straighten the arms. Hands are on the floor. Probably not on your mat, but maybe. And you're back bending here. Come up onto the balls of your feet. Lean into the hands. And then lower the heels. If you want, you can walk your hands forward a hand length. Slide your shoulders forward. Come off the heels. Put more weight into the hands. Come right up onto the balls of the feet. If you want, come up onto the toes. And then lower the heels back down, sliding your hips back. Do this again. Slide forward. Shoulders go over the wrists. Heels lift up. If you want to come up higher, shoulders go forward even more over the fingers, in front of the fingers. And come right up onto the tips of the toes. Then you lower the heels and slide back. Going to do it one more time. Play with this. See where you can go. Arms are straight. And then release back down. Take your hands to your hips. Come all the way up. Bring your feet together. Shake your arms out. Get those flavonoids moving. All right. Take your feet about 2 to 3 inches apart. And come down into a squat. Try to keep the torso vertical. And then come back up. And see if you can do that again. Your knees have to be able to withstand this weight that you're moving. And it's just your body weight. You have no additional weights with you. You're going to do 5 of these. One more. Just go as deep as you can. Come on back up. All right, I want to bring it down to the floor. Let me see where we are. Holy cow. All right, come on down to your mat. Lay down on your mat. I'm going to bring you through bridge pose, and I'm going to invite you to do shoulder stand and plow, actually plow then shoulder stand, and that's if you can. If you cannot do plow or shoulder stand, then you can just do legs up the wall, or you can do bridge again, okay? So, bridge setup. You're on your back, your knees are bent, your feet are flat on the floor, your feet are in line with your hips. And kind of wiggle your shoulder blades a little bit closer, not all the way, just a little bit. Press your shoulders down. Your arms are alongside your torso. Press your arms down. Palms are facing down. Begin to press into your feet, but do not lift up yet. Press into your feet and slide your tailbone long so the lower back comes to the mat. And your glutes may actually be lifted up a little bit. Now, continue to press your feet down. Lift the glutes, then the lower back, then the middle back starts to lift, then the upper back starts to lift, and you now take your shoulder blades as close together as you can, and now your back is off the mat, you're on your shoulders. Start to reach your chest towards your chin. You're welcome to do whatever you want to do with your hands. Some people like to clasp their hands. I don't like to do that anymore. I'll sometimes grab my heels. I'll sometimes just bring my arms in somewhat of a goalpost formation. But lift up those hips. Bring the chest closer even to the chin. And hold this pose. Press your feet down and isometrically away from you. The hips will lift up even more. Now take your arms overhead, freeing your shoulders. Your shoulder blades start to lower down from the top of the spine. That's the upper, then the middle, then the lower back, and then the glutes. Now, take your knees in and wrap your arms around your knees. And gently roll. Go side to side. Now, take your legs straight up. When we're against the wall, we call this Viparita Karani. This is great for varicose veins. It's great for assisting. It's almost an inversion. If you had a prop underneath your hips, it could be considered an inversion because it'll somewhat lift your heart a little bit above your head. So that's an inversion. But this helps with the blood flow to the upper extremities, which always have to fight gravity from the heart up. So from here, take your left leg, slowly lower it down forward, let the heel touch, then it comes back up, meets the right, and now the right starts to move. Touch it, lift it back up, and you're moving slowly. Now if you want to add to this, keep your lower back pressed to the mat. So the low back does not lift up. Now it makes it a lot more challenging just to keep the low back down. If you want, you can lower both legs down at the same time and let the lower back lift up. Heels touch on both feet, you lift them back up. But if this is not enough, as you lower both legs down, you keep the lower back pressed to the mat and lift it up, keeping the lower back touching. Then you're shaking quite a bit. Take your arms in the goalposts so that you're not using your arms to assist your abs. Do 2 more. Ujjayi breathe. Hug your knees in. Gently roll. And since you may be on a rug at home, I'm not sure if you are or not, but if you are on a rug, roll all the way to the side. If you're not on a rug, it may be a little more, it's going to be more hard. That is, the surface is hard, not the challenge level. All right, set your feet down, and we're going to go into plow. So plow can be approached. Some people will throw their legs up, and that's one way of doing it. Some people will come into bridge, come here, take one leg up, and then the other, and then move into plow. If this is a pose you can do, if your neck is all right, then come into this pose. And if you are here, you can have the legs parallel to the floor, or you can have the tips of the toes down, or the balls of the feet down. And if you want to add some playtime, you can start to swivel your legs from one side to the other. And then move into your shoulder stand. And if you're not in either of these poses, come into your bridge once again. And then slowly make your way down. Stay on your back. And what you're going to do, you're going to let your fingers do the walking. You're going to massage your belly. Now, it's not a surface massage, and it's not a rub. It's digging your fingers in and going down and pressing in quite a bit. So you're like kneading dough. Since you're laying down, your abdominals should be relaxed and open. Unless you're talking like I am. So if you get deep enough, you're actually massaging some of your organs. And if what I want you to do now is go on the right hand side with both hands, curl your fingers under your lower rib, and just kind of knead in. You'll know how much pressure to apply. There should be no tenderness. If there is, you need to work that. Go to the other side, do the same thing. All right, now take the bottoms of your feet together and come into Supta Baddha Konasana. So both knees go wide, the bottoms of the feet are touching, and you're opening up the adductors, the insides of the legs. Now bring your knees together. Bring the knees in. Take your arms in goalpost and lower your knees to the right. Come back to center. Lower your knees to the left. Come back to center. Take your left knee in your left hand, your right knee in your right hand. Separate the knees. Bring the knees in towards your shoulders. And then slide your hands and arms inside the legs. Grab onto the outside of each foot and come on into Happy Baby. And in your Happy Baby, I want you to roll from side to side. Now straighten out your legs as best you can. Bring them wide. Then bring them together. Keep your hips down. Take them apart once again. Open and then bring them together. Take them overhead as best you can. The hips will raise up. Lower the hips back down. Come back into your Happy Baby. Knees are bent. Then bring the bottoms of your feet together. Clasp your hands. Hold on to your feet. Outside edges. And then extend one leg long and then the other. And enter into your Shavasana. Get yourself comfortable. Relax your body into your mat. Let your palms turn upwards. Soften your shoulders. And just breathe here. Let go. Beloved, come home. Come home to the infinite power that lives within you. Come home to the remembrance of who you are. Come home to your inner peace and to the light of your soul's essence. Take a deep breath into your center. Feel it now. Then release it and come home, because it is your time to heal and to rise. The divine is calling you and filling you with strength. to support you in coming home to your center. There is a place of stillness within you that is wise, aware, present, perceptive, grounding, and trusting. There is no deeper truth. You are sacred. You are divine. You are love. This is the true core of your being, hidden beneath layers of hurt that this world has wrapped around you. But the illusion of separation is now shedding. You are coming home into the divine embrace of oneness, purity, remembrance. You feel it now. The inner resonance that knows in every cell of your body that you are love. You are divinely connected. You are worthy and you are healed. Breathe in. Breathe out. You have arrived. Welcome home. Wiggle your toes. Move your fingers. Bend your elbows and move your hands and your wrists. Then draw one knee in, followed by the other. Roll to your right side. Coming into a comfortable fetal position. Now come on up to a seated pose. Bring your hands to the heart, keeping your eyes closed, withdrawing to your inner sanctuary. Feeling appreciation for yourself, towards yourself. Thank you everyone for your practice, for your time. Enjoy the rest of this day. Namaste.